Welcome Home Radio Podcast. Are you looking to buy or sell your home? Our team is here with answers to guide you through the buying and selling process. We encourage you to ask questions. Please comment on this show or visit us at welcomehomeradio.net for more information. Bringing real estate, lending, and education together in one place, and to help you make the right home decision for you and your family.
And welcome to Welcome Home Radio, where real estate lending and learning come together. It is October 15th, and we are excited to continue our series on Your Turn to Ask. And we have some interesting questions that have been supplied to us. We want to share those, but I do want to welcome Tom. We missed you last month, Tom. Hope you're doing better.
Yep, finally getting it under control to some degree.
And we do want to remind our followers and listeners that, hey, like us, follow us, share us. We want to make sure the word's getting out because real estate industry is kind of crazy right now. And again, we have some really good questions. So our first question today is from a realtor. It says, I'm a realtor, but I'm trying to understand price cut trending. Is it trending locally? What is it doing nationally? And what should we expect for the final part of the year? Well, the good question, kind of experience in my neighborhood. We had 2 homes up for sale in the last 60 days. One home went in 5 days. The other waited 2.5 months before closing, needed work, so forth. So I'm going to say if the home is priced right, it will move quickly. But we are seeing seller trimming prices by roughly not 30 to 40%, by 30 to 40% listings are being trimming prices of some sort. They're pricing correcting. They may have come up too high, they're coming down lower, but we are seeing home buyers being more picky. And I see this adjustment happening roughly 30 to 40% of the time across the nation right now. And some of them are, if you're panic selling, if you got to move, if you got to go, pricing a home right, pricing it to sell, it will happen. But Tom, what are you seeing out there in the market yourself?
Well, that's I think a lot my experience as well. In my neighborhood, there's only one house for sale. In the 88 houses in my subdivision that are here, and it's been on the market now for 3 months. So, I mean, if you sit there and want a pie in the sky type deal and think 10 people are lined up to come and try to buy your property, you're still reading something from 2 and 3 years ago as far as the information you're getting.
Sure.
So that's one of the big deals is trying to stay up to date because the market does change. And I'll say people are sophisticated enough nowadays that used to take, sometimes 2, 3, 4, 6 months for things to change. Today's they change on a dime. So within 30 days, if you're not getting bites on your property, you know that most likely that what's driving that is the fact that you're priced incorrectly for your marketplace.
I agree. Right now, homes that check the boxes with updated kitchens, new roofs, are seeing multiple offers. But it's the key advice to the sellers that price to the market you're in, not the one you wish you were in, but the one you're in. And don't price it based on 3 years ago. That's not going to happen. Buyers are holding off a little bit. Buyers are waiting to see how far rates will go. Buyers aren't wanting to move right now in the middle of a school year. There's so many reasons why buyers are not in the market, but it seems sellers are coming on board more and more. If your home feels like $700,000 and it's really $550,000, you're not going to have much interest, even off of great pictures. So rethink, reset your plan. Often, we're seeing seller concessions all the time right now. And so planning that, budgeting for that, helping people get into the home that you're trying to sell them can be beneficial. But right now, as a realtor, you need to make sure you understand the market that you're in, not the one you wish you were in, and that your sellers understand how to price things. You can't just sit here and have a challenge. This one home had had damage around the pool, had to fix up in the backyard, had some window challenges and a roof. It's not going to go unless you pass off a lot of concessions. And 3 months later, they did drop the price quite a bit to get that off the market. So that's our advice for that. Anything else to add to that, Tom?
Well, and I think what you just brought into, play is the fact that if your house needs work, you can sell it from one of two positions. I have a rental property, and I'm trying to do some things to adjust right now as far as my inventory of houses. And so the big deal for me was, do I want to fix this up and do I want to sell it, or do I want to fix it up and rent it back out? Even from that perspective, you as an owner, you have to make those decisions, because if you spend the money to fix it up, am I going to be stuck at a really high price that I can't do much adjusting with, or am I going to just get in a situation where it'll help me move the property more quickly? And I think that's, once you get labeled as one of those things that's on the market for a long period of time, you're running into the fact that the rest of the market understands that you're not very, or they perceive you as not very flexible in the pricing because you've been on the market. So a lot of people, if you talk to real estate professionals, they'll tell you those first 5 days, that first week, that first 10 days on the market sets the tone for you as far as the seller's concerned. So getting the house in good shape in order to sell, you don't do it after somebody's made an offer that's lowball that says, well, go fix this, 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 and this.
Sure.
So that's another part of the mental factors that are out there in the marketplace that a lot of people don't come in contact with. Emotionally, it's hard to change your price once you've settled for, well, I'm going to sell this for 400. Well, I'm getting offers at 350, 365. That's a hit. That's a 10% off type situation. So it's tough to take that hit.
Well, as a realtor, we should be setting our clients up for success, not failure. And if you let the client drive the situation and the education, then you're not going to be able to be successful, because you're working off a playbook that may not be the correct one. So a realtor needs to come in with a strong understanding of the market, as well as valuations, potential appraisals that are in the area, as well as what is the status of other homes that have come off the market, have gone quickly, updated kitchen, updated bathroom, updated front door, yard work, all of these sorts of things. You can't go sell a home as is and expect top dollar. It's not going to happen. So moving on, we've got a buyer that is very interested in buying, but has a question. Welcome Home Radio. Can I afford today's payments, and what happens if rates drop later? Very good question. Being hesitant, trying to be judicious in their situation. So affordability is tight. It's very tight. And it's all about your perspective and your situation. Monthly payments are higher, but rents are getting not only more expensive, they're growing. Rent is definitely growing. Like our landlord right across from my picture here. No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing, Tom. I'm teasing.
Well, I've had and I understand. I try to be empathetic with my tenants because I have good tenants. They've been there for a long time. They, call me when things are wrong, and I take care of the property. But the big problem with being a landlord nowadays is the fact that just insurance, just by itself, I looked at historically what I paid on one property this year that I'm renewing was $1,250 last year. The best quotes I'm getting this year are over $2,300.
Wow. So that is a huge perspective, as renters insurance going increases the cost to that owner that's renting the home. So again, deciding, and it's about perspective. If you're going to rent, realize you're never going to see that money again. But if you buy a home, that money's going to come back to you. And if you're in it long enough, it will come back to you more profitable. But buying a home with the new rates, where they're at, the cost, the tax advantages alone are beneficial. But again, can I afford the house? You need to talk with the lender, go through the details, and understand, is it in an HOA? I just had one that they knew everything about the home. They even had a mud tax down in Houston that they were talking about that was added on, but they didn't know about the HOA. And when I discovered the HOA, it put their debt to income above possible closing. And it's so tight that they finally had to back off the type of home they're looking for and go a little bit more affordable, as opposed to having their wish list home completed. So again, you can afford it and you can refinance down the road. If rates get better, you can go through a refinance process. You just want to make sure it's worthwhile when you refi. It's possible. And, but again, can I afford what's going on now and look for the possible growth? I can definitely look at a 5-7 year, but if you're only looking at a home to stay in it for 2 or 3 years, may consider renting a better option for that period of time. Again, it's all about how long you're going to stay there, as well as making sure your affordability is intact for that home, because rates are coming down. They are going to get better. Tom and I just don't know exactly when. We assume some things, but the rate cuts are coming further. We'll see if there's one in this month, but refinance is a strategy. It allows you to buy now, refi later. Normally with 6 months at the shortest, normally about 1.5 to 2 years later is better, because rates are going to drop enough to make it worthwhile to refinance. So consider these things as you go out looking for homes, looking for cost, but also be negotiable with the seller. Seller right now, there are concessions being used. You can do a 2-1 buy down. That means you have them pay down and buy it down for you for 1 year, 2 years. And that helps your costs. That helps your savings. Would you agree, Tom?
Well, I want to point out one thing that is on a disclosure, our CD disclosure, that is very prominent, that it was put on there back in 2015 when a lot of our disclosure rules changed. It's very important to keep in mind that if you're going to go into the marketplace and you're getting to be in a situation where perhaps you're going to be not a little bit, but you're putting yourself in a position where you consider yourself on a monthly basis house poor, and that cash flow is really difficult for you, hanging on for refinance. The challenge I tell people is actually disclosed to them at closing to remind them about the refinance option. A lot of people got into that back in the 2006, 7, and 8 timeframe. Lenders would tell you, don't worry, in a couple of years when this thing starts getting nasty and things go up and your insurance, your taxes go up and you want to refinance. They forgot to tell them you need equity in your property. And there's not very many options as far as refinancing that don't require you to have a 5% equity position. FHA has a streamlined process, and VA has a very good interest rate reduction type program that don't require as much equity, but to usually make things make sense refinance wise, you've got to build up some equity in the property. And one of the things we're seeing is people overpaid for properties 3 and 5 years ago, and now they're running into challenges when the market's making some adjustments and prices have come down in the neighborhood. So be aware that, and I don't want to sound like Debbie Downer, but when you buy a property, you've got to be thinking about in the future, what is it going to look like financially, not just at that current situation.
You sound more like Larry the Loser, not Debbie Downer. So
Yeah, one of the two. Larry lives down the street from me, so
yeah,
I didn't want to mix it up.
that is true. You do want to, but that's why you want to be talking about making that decision. If things are tight right now, waiting may be the only option that is best for you and your family. But the option to buy and start building that equity now is always better because there is a cost of waiting. Waiting always costs you dollars because home prices are going to go up more. You're not going to see, even though rates come down, home values and competition will cause home prices to rise, not continue to fall. So just be aware and go through the process, talk about it, and please talk to somebody. Don't. I just had a client, been working with them for 2.5 years, a veteran in Houston, and of course they wanted to go shopping. They have a contract, they're ready to go shop the value of the home. Well, I pre-approve you. I just pre-approve you. I don't lock a rate until I have a contract. Most lenders are not allowed to do that. They're not going to pre-lock something. But the bottom line is online shopping, make sure you know the cost of the loan and the mortgage. Make sure you understand all the costs going into it. Those online lenders do not know about MUDs and additional taxes. They estimate insurance as well as they don't even consider HOAs. All these costs go into that. So please be aware. Our final question for this segment from a seller and basically asks WHR, Welcome Home Radio, is now the best time to sell or waiting to the spring of 2026? Now, this is a real good question. Things are staying on the market. I say this, the window is now. Stand out before competition comes in 2026. You're possibly getting more deals if your home stands out now, as opposed to more homes are going to come on if other people are waiting and more buyers on the market. Right now, you always want to take that opportunity. Everything's negotiable. There is leverage in your favor going now. What is your thoughts, Tom, on this? Selling now or waiting till spring 2026?
Well, I actually read an article in preparation for, you guys probably think, well, he doesn't prepare for this. Tom, he's got to be crazy. But I actually read an article about that, espousing how smart it would be to wait till 2026. And I was like, yeah, but these arguments about waiting for 2026 markets to, settle, things are in a downward motion right now, that type of thing. If you're in a situation where all the factors are weighed and the payments, as far as we know what taxes are going to look like for next year in Texas. And of course, the guy writing this article was from the Midwest in Ohio. If you're in Texas, you got your tax bills. Believe me, they all just came in the mail to me yesterday and the day before. Or what was that, Saturday and Friday. Pulled out this, cadre of bills. I know, how much that's going to run me. I know how much my insurance is going to be. You can pretty much hope that there's no more big storms in our hurricane season that would affect insurance rates. So in Texas, this is the right time to be buying if you find a house that is affordable, that's in your price range, because you do know that you've got some security for the next 12 months of things not changing drastically on your financial situation. And people don't realize, but once you see hurricanes hitting the East Coast or, New Orleans, they've been able to avoid a hurricane this year. So that's nice. Knock on wood.
But again, you're talking about if you're selling the home, the buyers now, you'd rather take the opportunity to have that home sold now instead of waiting for maybe more competition, but we don't know. Prices could drop. If your home is in shape now and it's ready to sell in your situation, you sell now, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, this is it.
I mean, and plus, if you just say you go on the market for 30, 45 days and then you don't get what you want, you drop off the market, then you wait for spring 2026. There's no harm, no foul. And you have that downtime of 4 or 5 months to straighten up some things, make some corrections, and or wait strongly for that push. But to me, it's always a good time to sell in your situation if you're ready for it, especially if you owe no debt and the home prices are where they're at now. Now, waiting, it could bring more buyers, but there's also going to be more listings. There's going to be more competition. What's the trade-off? Are you going to be able to sell? Are you going to have to still give concessions then? We don't know what that means. So as a seller, there's a lot of considerations there. You need to be talking to your realtor, talking about prices and how many homes are for sale in your area. And what market are you in? Are you in the starter home market? Are you in the more luxury home market? Are you at the higher end? And if you're expecting higher end dollars, is your home ready at a higher end pricing and look and feel? Because I think the hardest thing for some of those people are to declutter their home. To be perfectly honest.
That's a big deal.
It's a challenge because you've got so much, you've been there 20, 30 years. There's a lot to declutter, and you've got storage space to put into. You've got all of this to go into to work toward. So again, making sure you understand all of that, making that decision to go now, go later. To me, I would be selling now. I would not want to wait for all the competition in the future.
Makes good sense right now.
Well, thank you.
If it's affordable, if you can put it in your budget, it's the right time to be buying as well as.
Yeah, I mean, the market is still good. It's still strong. There is unemployment. There are people that cannot buy due to the fact they do not have a stable job, stable income. But there are people out there that are not. Again, only 61% of Americans own a home. 61%. There's still 39% of Americans that are looking for homes are not buying. They are renting. And rents are continuing to go up. Insurance, like Tom expressed, it's causing those challenges. And that's money you'll never see back, period. There's no chance for you ever to see that. So please consider strongly. Talk to a professional. Talk to somebody you trust, you understand. Reach out to us. We thank you for this time. Your turn to ask. I hope, again, we're here to help you get to CTC Clear to Close. Follow, like us, share us, please. Get our name out there. Help us to help people educate about the real estate market and how they can be profitable and do well for their family. I'm Blair Thomas.
And I'm Tom Holm.
God bless.
Welcome Home Radio production provided by Lunatic Digital. Check to listen to this podcast for the links to our sponsors. And don't forget to like, share, and follow us on social media. Visit welcomehomeradio.net for more information. This was a Lunatic Digital production. Visit lunaticdigital.com for all your digital needs.